everyone. Welcome to week 3 of your 30-day challenge and welcome to my office. So this office isn't quite ready yet for prime time, but sometimes you need to energetically put yourself in the future of the things you're working towards in order to achieve those things. Wink, wink. So in order to do that, how I want to get started and how I started last week is really thinking about that reflection practice. And I just want to talk a little bit more about why I emphasize that reflection practice, why I do it with my clients, is because when we're trying to make changes in our life, if we don't meet up to these like standards that we set for ourselves, let's say we wanted to drink more water. We set our goal to be 80 ounces of water. And maybe one day we drink 70 and another day we drink 75 and maybe one day we drink 40. And all you keep thinking to yourself is, man, I'm not hitting my target. I'm not hitting my target. I'm not hitting my target. That's not going to make you want to continue. It's going to make you want to give up. But instead of thinking that, you say, you know what? I may have only drank 40 ounces of water today, but last week, before I started this challenge, or a few weeks ago, I was only drinking 10 ounces of water. Gosh, I was drinking soda and coffee all day long. I've been there. I get it. So celebrating those small wins is what's going to keep you motivated. And that's how those changes, those habits are going to become reinforced and they're just going to become secondary. So you're not going to have to think about them. So when you think about this week, I want you to think, where are 3 areas where you really succeeded? Maybe they're in the areas that we discussed, right, over the challenge. Maybe they have nothing to do with the challenge and you spent some extra time with your kids, or you went to the park, or you did something you enjoyed that was really a success for you. So I want you to reflect on that. And if you need to, pause this video and really take time to think about it. And then after you have those down and you really reflected on them, I want you to think about, okay, now looking at that, where is one area, maybe it's has something to do with the things you wrote down, or maybe it's different, where you feel that you can do better next week? Is it around your water goal? Is it around protein? Did you have vegetables with most of your meals, any of your meals last week? Where can you add in some more colorful fruits and vegetables? Maybe you want to go to the supermarket this weekend and look for something that you've never tried before that's a cool color. Think about where there may be an area. It can also be like a sneaky sugar place. So I want you to reflect on all those things. You have that written down? Good. Now, next step, I want to talk about 2 different key insights that I want to share with you this week that'll really help to move the needle. Okay, so let's get into the meat of week 3. So what I want to talk to you about is the layout of a supermarket. Do you ever realize that most supermarkets, wherever you go, are set up the same way? You close your eyes with me. You walk into a supermarket, you go to the right. When you go to the right, what do you find? Produce, right? You found all the produce, fruits, and vegetables. You walk straight through the produce, and when you get towards the back of the store, what's in the back of the store? Meats, right? All different types of meats that are usually fresh. So maybe there's a butcher, maybe there's seafood. And then you walk around, and maybe the dairy is kind of on the other side, a little bit down further. So what you're like, Dr. J, what the heck? Why are you bringing this up? My point is another pearl that I share with my patients is when you go to the supermarket, I want you to focus on the perimeter of the supermarket. What does that mean? So think about what I just said. I want you with most of your meals. So let's aim for 80% of the time to be thinking whole foods. That means fruits, vegetables, protein, and even it can be dairy if your body tolerates dairy, and incorporating that into your diet and thinking less about all the processed stuff that's on the aisles. Guys, I don't know if you realize, but there's a freaking conspiracy going on with all these different health foods that are in the aisles that are say healthy, and all these things on the labels that want us to think that they're healthy, but they're really not, because they're packed with a bunch of, I would call them anti-nutrient preservatives and all this crap they put in our food. So how you can get around that is by shopping for food that is whole, meaning as close as you can get to the natural source. So again, fruits and vegetables that you prepare, and then meats and fish and other types of protein that you prepare yourself. When it comes to grains and things like that, think complex carbohydrates, not like processed bread. You want to try to avoid that as much as possible. You want to think about things like maybe brown rice, quinoa, farro, different types of whole grains. So that's the point. The other thing to think about, and I'll share this with you, is for most people, if the only thing you do is stop eating processed food, stop eating anything that comes out of a package, and just prepare your own food, guys, magic happens. I swear magic happens. You lose weight, your skin will clear up, you'll feel amazing, you'll have increased energy, and you know what it is? It's you're giving your body the nutrients that it needs, in addition to getting rid of all the crap, and the inflammation goes down in your body. All of a sudden, your body's like, wow, I have everything I need to heal myself, to make myself feel better. And it just does its thing because the body is very, very wise. It knows exactly what it needs to do to heal itself. You just need to give it the right nutrients and take away the crap that is impacting or inhibiting it from actually doing its thing, and magic happens. Okay, let's talk about our second insight for this week. So, one of the other big things that I focus on with my patients is looking at their sleep. I can't tell you how many times I've had patients who are doing absolutely everything right, like 11 out of 10 effort for their health habits, and just not seeing changes. And a lot of times, sleep is at the root of that. You know, guys, that old phrase, I'll sleep when I'm dead, is not supported in any way anymore. All these longevity experts have proven that in order to be your healthiest, best self, if you want to prevent all these chronic diseases like heart disease and dementia and cancers, sleep is so incredibly important. So that's why we're going to talk about this today. So when thinking about sleep, everybody's body varies a little bit on how much sleep that they need. But in reality, most people need between 7 and 8 hours of sleep. And in addition to just hitting that hourly target, going to bed at the same time every night and trying to get up in the morning around the same time will help your body's internal circadian clock regulate so that that becomes second nature. So think that, at nighttime when the sun starts to set, your body will automatically go into that rested state. But what happens is when we're exposed to things like our cell phones or TVs, or we're stimulated because we're staring at a computer because we're still working late into the night, it tricks our brains. Our brains think that is actually daytime because that light being transmitted into our eyes towards our retina triggers our brain to release chemicals because it thinks that we're awake. And so the same thing happens in the morning time. So we want to play around with this kind of this eye retina light situation. And how you do that is you try to avoid bright light sources after the sun goes down. So that's going to mean avoiding the screens, avoiding, TV and cell phones and computer screens. And if you really can't avoid them after the sun goes down, getting blue light blocking glasses, seriously, they work if they're the real deal, to block out that blue light so that your body can start to downshift. And kind of playing on the same thing is when you wake up in the morning, if you feel groggy, one of the things that can help is to actually see sunlight. So if you go outside, you spend like 10 minutes, doesn't have to be super sunny, it can even be overcast. That sunlight that's going into your eyes, obviously don't look directly at the sun. It helps to, again, set your circadian clock so that you will start to naturally go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time. This is super important and something that's so often missed when people are talking about diets and things. So I really want you to think about how can you improve your sleep to really make this amount of effort look like this much because you're getting enough sleep and your body is well rested. Okay, so who's up for a challenge? So for this week, I want you to write down those 3 things that you said that were wins for you this week. And not just write them down. I really want you to hold them dear. I want you to reflect on them. I want you to feel proud, because the more you can feel proud and feel happy about the successes that you're having, the more likely that the habits that you're implementing are going to stick and that you'll be motivated to make more positive changes. And then I want you to write down that one area that you think you can do better in this week. And then number 2, I want you to think about when we're thinking about whole foods and incorporating more whole foods in our diet, where is there one meal in your day, in your week, that you can incorporate a completely whole foods menu for that meal? Let me know all about it, and even tell me what you're planning on cooking, because we're all looking for new healthy recipes. And then number 3, thinking about sleep. I want to know, what is your commitment around sleep? Is it a certain number of hours you're going to be targeting? Is it that you're going to go to bed at a certain time or wake up at a certain time? Or maybe you're going to shut off your phone after a certain time at nighttime? Please let me know what you're deciding to do. I just realized I said time a lot in that last sentence, but I want to know, what is your sleep commitment for this week? Thank you so much for being with me on week 3. Thank you for joining the challenge, and it is absolutely my pleasure to serve you in this way. See you next week.